Hello. Check, check, check for the mic. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's normal stream, Streamtown. Um, for some reason, chat isn't up for me. There we go. All right. Yes. Hi, Tails. This is Mirror B's music because I'm finally getting back to doing some Pokemon Family, and it is finally time to tackle this Ludicolo creature. So just like every Pokemon Family, I'm going to start off the stream by reading through the Bulbapedia dex entries and all that, just to get a refresher on how the Pokemon is. Sometimes it helps having the anatomy described to you, and then we'll give it a bit of a sketch. And that's fine, but why are you using my worst enemy's music? Come on, man. Mirabee's awesome. Alright. Lotad is a small blue Pokemon with 6 stubby legs. It has large eyes and a wide yellow mouth similar to a bill. A large leaf that resembles a lily pad covers its back. This large leaf allows Lotad to float across ponds, and it will sometimes ferry smaller Pokemon on its back in this manner. However, the leaf will wilt if Lotad becomes dehydrated. The size and weight prevent Lotad from living on land, but on rare occasions it travels on land in search of clean water. It is a salamander. Lotad's such a goofy Pokemon. So on this picture from the anime, it looks like the lily pad is quite a bit down from the top of its body. I always assumed it was like, I don't know, I'll explain what I assumed later, but it seems like I've been wrong. So in Pokemon Ruby, it says Lotad live in small ponds and lakes where they float on the surface. It grows weak if its broadleaf dies. On rare occasions, this Pokemon travels on land in search of clean water. Lotad is said to have dwelled on land before. However, this Pokemon is thought to have returned to water. Is there any music playing? No, there's not. Let's turn on the music. Screw him and his Ludicolos with the rain dash and swift swim, high HP. No. Now there is. All right. This Pokemon lives in ponds with clean water. It is known to ferry small Pokemon across ponds by carrying them on the broad leaf on its head. It searches about for clean water. It does not drink water for too long. Oh, if it does not drink water for too long, the leaf on its head wilts. It looks like an aquatic plant and serves as a fairy to Pokemon who can't swim. Its leaf grows too large for it to live on land. That is how it began to live floating in the water. Let's see if X and Y gives us any new information. Looks like an aquatic plant, serves the fairy Pokemon that can't swim. It searches about for clean water. If it doesn't drink water, it'll wilt. Lotad live in ponds, lakes, where they float on the surface. It grows weak on rare occasions. Lotad is said to dwell on land. Okay, yeah. All the entries seem to be pretty standard, the same thing throughout all of them. For some Pokemon, the X and Y entries actually get a bit darker. Lotad is only an inch, a little over an inch and a half. A foot and a half tall. Which, considering it's mostly round, that's quite a bit of space for it to carry Pokemon. Lombre is a Pokemon that I never really had. I was never a big fan of Lombre, but maybe drawing it will make it a little more appealing for me. It's 3 foot 11 inches tall, almost 4 feet. That's like child size, right? That's a decent size. Aw, it's cute. Yeah, like the angle that they show it at is never really that uh, flattering, but in the anime it looks like a little kappa. Hi, Bronze Leaf. Howdy, gamers. What's poppin'? Hi, Titty Committee. Hey, Bronze. Good to see you. Hey. I never understood his face until the anime. The anime is great for helping understand how Pokemon work. Lombre is nocturnal. It will get active after dusk. It is also a mischief maker. When this Pokemon spots anglers, it tugs on their fishing lines from beneath the water and enjoys their consternation. Consternation. That's only the second time in my entire life where I've seen it used in anything. The first time being in that song that Frollo sings in Hunchback. Titty Committee says, "What's going on?" Bronzely says, "Good to see you guys too. I never forget. I nearly forgot the stream was today." It doesn't feel like a Monday. No, it doesn't, especially after the weekend. I'm doing the Lotad family today. Pokemon family time. Lombre's entire... I'm reading through the Bulbapedia entries because I like to kind of familiarize myself with the descriptions of the Pokemon rather than just going on the visuals alone. Lombre's entire body is covered by a slippery, slimy film. It feels horribly unpleasant to be touched by this Pokemon's hands. Lombre is often mistaken for a human child. Oh my goodness, nothing in that Sapphire entry was pleasing to me. In the evening, it takes great delight in popping out of rivers and startling people. It feeds on aquatic moss that grows on rocks in the riverbed. What a troglodyte. It lives at the water's edge where it is sunny. It sleeps on a... Wait, but it's nocturnal? It sleeps on a bed of water grass by day and becomes active at night. It has a mischievous spirit. If it spots an angler, it will tug on its line. It's nocturnal, becomes active at nightfall. It feeds on aquatic moss. It has a mischievous spirit. Oh, Black and White and Black and White 2 both have pretty much the same exact entries. X and Y say it lives at the water's edge where it's sunny. It sleeps on a bed of water grass. It has a mischievous spirit. Lombre is nocturnal, get active after dusk. Spots anglers, it tugs on fish. Okay. Yeah, it's alright. It's a cool Pokemon, I guess. I'll see how I feel drawing it. I find often middle stage evolutions don't appeal to me much until I've drawn them. The middle stages have really nice proportions usually. The Diamond Pearl sprite for it is a bit nicer to look at. It looks nice in black and white too. The poor thing has a pretty done face in 3D though. Well, let's take a look at Ludicolo. Bad touch boy. Bad touch boy, yeah. Oh. It needs a water stone. I always forget about the stone evolutions. Ludicolo is a bipedal Pokemon that appears to be a mixture of a pineapple and a duck. There is a green sombrero-like growth on its head that is similar to a lily pad. Growing out the top of its head is a short brown stem with a yellow spiky upper portion. It has black eyes surrounded by a patch of green and an orange bill. Its body is covered with shaggy yellow fur, and it has several zigzagging brown stripes. The female has thinner stripes than the male. It has large green hands with 2 black lines on its palms. It has thick green legs with a black circle on the underside of its feet. Ludicolo has beans! Ludicolo becomes more powerful when it hears festive music and will appear near laughing children on hikes. As it becomes more energetic and active, it will break into a dance. Ludicolo lived near the water's edge. It's such a happy Pokemon. Let's see. Ludicolo begins dancing as soon as it hears cheerful, festive music. This Pokemon is said to appear when it hears the singing of children on hiking outings. Upon hearing an upbeat and cheerful rhythm, the cells in Ludicolo's body become very energetic and active. Even in battle, this Pokemon will exhibit an amazing amount of power. Happy to ruin people's lives. When it hears festive music, all the cells in its body become stimulated, and it becomes moving in rhythm. It does not quail, even when it faces a tough opponent. The rhythm of bright, festive music activates Ludicolo's cells, making it more powerful. If it hears festive music, all the muscles fill with energy. It can't help breaking into a dance. If it hears festive music, it becomes moving in rhythm in order to amplify its power. Let's see. Can't help breaking into dance. Rhythm of bright, festive music. Begins dancing. Children hiking. Exhibit an amazing amount of power. Alright. Let me see what it looks like from the back. The fact that its mouth goes so low, does that mean it actually sticks out quite a bit, I wonder? Because that would make sense, right? It's not like in real life ducks' bills can just stretch like elastic or skin. Well, in any case, Ludicolo's fun. I always remember it from the Pokemon Jirachi movie. The Pikachu short in the beginning of it had a Meowth invent some kind of weird some weird baton that like played music, and when it does, it like forces Pokemon to dance. And then this like random Loudred and or was it a Loudred? Yeah, a Loudred and a Ludicolo would just randomly appear to dance during those segments. So let's just draw the Pokemon. So like what I was saying is in the little screenshot, it shows the Lotad, and its body is connected to the lily pad, like really, really flat like this. I always imagined the Lotad was this shape, and then the lily pad was just on top of it like this, and that it only looks like this because you're viewing it from the top. But apparently that's not the case. Huh. Tails says, I greatly dislike this Pokemon because Mirabee was a tough boss when I was a kid. I thought Mirabee was hilarious. And me and my friends, when we would wait for each other before going inside after the buses arrive, because, you know, the buses are staggered. When you go to public school, they don't all arrive like immediately at the same time. So whoever got there first, and even like after school, you know, like before we board the bus, because not everyone had the same classes, so we don't always get to see each other during the day. So when waiting for the bus, we would go out to the benches and stand up on the benches and just dance like Ludicolo. We go Ludicolo, and we would say the Ludicolo dance would summon the rest of our group. So I like Ludicolo. It's got good vibes for me. it looked pretty creepy in the trailer for Detective Pikachu, but in the movie I didn't mind it so much. It certainly wasn't one of the Pokemon that I would expect to make it into the movie, and it was such a small part, but it was nice to see it. Um, and I don't actually remember how difficult Mirror B was. I played Coliseum like once. And my memory is rather bad. So individual uh, boss fights and such don't always stick in my memory. And then of course, Lotad is always a cutie from the anime. It's just Brock's Lotad was special. All right, let's see. Him and his 4 Ludicolos kicked my butt so many times. Yeah, what with their and they're like dancing the whole time too, so it's like they're taunting you. Um, Man, I'm still kind of sore from this weekend. So for those of you who weren't there, this weekend, we had a bit of an event in the Nuzlocke community. We had a 24-hour stream event where different Nuzlockers would get together and we had like art streams going, we had Nuzlocks going, we had games, we had interviews. It was such a good time. I had a lot of fun. Tails actually streamed Sonic Forces, which was great because she got through the whole game and even some extras during her time slot. That was like at 3, and then right after, one of my favorite Nuzlocke streamers, not Nuzlocke comic artists who streams sometimes, Kadu showed up and did a 7 o'clock run, and then hers went until 11, and then at 11 I jumped in. So it was like one right after another of just awesome. It was like all of my favorite shows were on at the same time, or not the same time, but like, you know, a marathon. I almost never caught marathons as a kid on TV. I would always hear about them like afterwards. My friends would be like, "Oh man, I saw this like Disney marathon on the Disney Channel," or like this I don't know what else we were into back then, but yeah, and I would always be like, "Oh, I didn't know there was a marathon." uh, Tail says I made such a mistake as a kid. I was like, a guy with 4 Ludicolos, psh, easy, and then it wasn't. I sure did. I am determined to be known as the Sonic Forces streamer Stan. Bronzeleaf says, I forgot that it happened over the weekend, so I missed it. All of it. I missed the entire thing. Oh no. Tail says, I wish I could have come to more of you and Caduce streams. Oh, but you were so busy. Tails is one of the 3 people that really like worked their butts off to make the stream come together. And even during the stream, like when stuff was going wrong behind the scenes and like all the mods were freaking out, it ended up, like on the stream side of things, you really couldn't tell anything was going on. I think the only like really visible mistake that happened was that 12 hours in it like crashed and had to be restarted. But other than that, it was like everything went smoothly from the outside perspective. Of course, behind the scenes, people were like running around like, where am I supposed to be? It's so interesting because usually for these things I stay pretty much out of it. I don't want to be part of you know, events necessarily because I know it's just gonna be a big stress inducing mess if something goes wrong. But this time I was like half in. I had a part to play, but I wasn't involved necessarily with any real work, I guess. But because I was involved somewhat, I could watch all of the stuff happening behind the scenes, and it was really interesting. Oops, I got rid of my color. Let me try and get that back. I'm really proud of everyone who was part of it, though. We had two folks who did 12-hour Nuzlocke runs. And we had, let's see, I think someone was playing like Pokemon Ranger, which was fun. I actually own that game. I've never played it. I don't even know where it came from, like why we have that game. And I kind of want to get into it. Yeah. It looks like fun. Zero is in the second half of the second oh, wait. Bronze, the stream is in 2 parts on the official channel if you want to take a look. Zero is on the second half of the second video. Yeah, let me pull up. Let's see. That's the link to the official Nuzlocke Forums Twitch channel. It should be on there, the backlog at least. Zero's in the second half of the second video. Bronze. Oh, I love these guys. Oh, hi. I like how Tails comes up and is like, Ludicolo, my arch nemesis, ah! And then Nyx comes in and it's like, oh, I love these boys. They truly opposites attract. I was so busy. Yeah, Tails, if you go to Kadoo's stream, cause Kadoo, I feel kind of bad because she didn't get a chance in the main spotlight at all. But if you go to her actual stream channel, me and her chatted up a bit later on when she left the general voice chat, and we had some fun. Yeah. Let's see. Hosts internet drop. Like their computer and phones and everything. Oh gosh. So that wasn't even something we could control. Yeah, and it was like, you know, it's a thing that happens. I only own the first Ranger. I played through almost the end, then my DS cartridge popped out. No! Oh no, that sucks. The 3DS was absolutely terrible with that. I would always accidentally pop my cartridge out. Just the way where it was like placed, it was just terrible. Terrible design. And there's some like really good games on the DS and the 3DS, but I just can't I just don't like the graphic quality of the DS. Especially when everything became like 3D work. back when it was sprites, it still looked good. Like black and white looks great, and it has some really good animation for sprites. Uh, and then yeah, everything had to transition to 3D models because it's cheaper, I guess. Is the future. Like I really want to play Spirit Tracks, but I just can't look at it, especially since it's supposed to be in the same style as Wind Waker, and Wind Waker looks so good. The original Wind Waker. It's just. So I've been putting off the Ludicolo family for quite a while now. Mostly because I just don't have an idea for them. And so you might think, oh, so you decided to do it today because you finally got an idea for them, right? No. I just felt like it was time. I felt like if I could put this off forever if I wanted to, but it was time to just give it a shot. And sometimes you just gotta struggle through it on stream where everyone can see you make a fool of yourself. And maybe lightning will strike as soon as I start sketching. Maybe we'll be here until 2 hours in and I still haven't thought of anything. I remember the quailfish. When I did the quailfish line, that took forever. No, Spirit Tracks is the worst. Oh no, is it? Oh, but it like, it's such a fun idea. I love Link in his little conductor outfit. I love that Zelda actually gets to like do something. Oh, have you guys seen the Breath of the Wild trailer? I am so ready to be disappointed. Like, I am so ready to buy this game and be disappointed. Because in the trailer, Zelda, like, they show Zelda and Link, and they're both wearing that, like, cape thing that most players tend to, have a preference for. And Zelda's hair is shorter, so she looks more like she's traveling around and I'm just gonna say at the end of Breath of the Wild, I really wanted to see Zelda and Link roam in Hyrule together. Like, I don't know what I expected, because obviously you couldn't, like, you couldn't, just remake the whole game just for the post game, to include Zelda. And, Zelda has always had that thing where after you defeat Ganon, they would put you back, to a previous save file before you've defeated him, so that you never truly, finish the game. So I don't know what I was expecting. But then, the DLC came out, and I was like, oh, maybe. And, yeah, no. I don't know what I was expecting. I still haven't finished the DLC. Honestly, like, it was released so long after I finished playing the game that I just kind of like my muscle memory failed me. I didn't remember how to play the game. And when you first start, obviously you don't know how to play, but it like, you know, eases you in. Uh it's different than like just jumping in, and that's kind of how I felt. I felt like I hadn't played this game before, and I just kind of was tossed into the end of it with all these monsters and stuff, because I had forgotten all the controls. And even when I was learning, I really didn't like the camera controls. It was hard for me to get used to, but I eventually did. It turns out it was too difficult to get back into after after leaving for a while. So I haven't finished that yet. I'm not quite at the point where I'm ready to just throw in the towel and watch like the cutscenes on YouTube for the champions and stuff. But so yeah, so far in the past, all of the direct sequels to Zelda games that I know of have been wildly different in terms of gameplay, because Ocarina of Time was basically like a classic 3D Zelda dungeon crawler like kind of deal, and then Majora's Mask changed everything up and made it a time-based 3-day kind of thing. I think there was still dungeons, but you know, the mechanic, the main point of the game was different. It was no longer like quest based. It was more like NPC how do you say it? Not mini game, subplot based. Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass after Wind Waker were wildly different. So yeah, it's I like Spirit Tracks, but I don't like Hero of Trains. Oh, but it's so funny. I love it. The 3DS should have had a cover like the Switch has. In all fairness, I didn't have to fight them, so I just love my two shiny sons. your shinies have cute names. What was it, like Kappa and Pina Colada? That's so cute. I like yes, I got it because I thought it was cute, but it played so bad. Short-haired Zelda is my favorite. Oh man, if we don't get to save Ganon, save Ganon! I haven't even played the first game or most of the Zelda games. The only one I have is Link Between Worlds. I heard that one was pretty good. Was that on the 3DS? Okay, so I'm thinking, because Lombre is kind of a child, that Ludicolo could be holding him like a child. Who dat? Oh, let's see. Up to you. I'll be there. Conga line? Kinda, except like lifted. A lifting conga line. He's a dancer. He can go a little higher. Yep. All right. And then I just want him to be holding the low Ted. I actually really like Lombre's face. He just looks so done with everything. His tiny little legs. I love the proportions. I guess it's always been just like, I think it's the sprite that made me dislike it. It doesn't look good in the Ruby Sapphire games. It's a pretty ugly sprite that they gave him. Let's see, if I scale it down slightly, make room for the hat. I can also just bring the hat down. That's also an option. Oops. Why is the background moving? Why isn't the background locked? Okay. I want Lombre to be holding Lotad a little more, in a little more interesting of a way. Maybe if he's holding him by the leaf, kind of like this. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. Um. Let me try one other idea instead of that. Zero, do you have any advice for doing art studies? Depends on what you want to study. Gosh, it's been a long time since I've done studies. Let me think about that. Art studies. My biggest advice, I guess, is to either find someone to like mentor you or look up tutorials before you jump into actual practice. You know, like the last thing you want to do is to spend a whole day studying the wrong thing. So like have someone explain to you what the study is and like why it's useful, and then you can jump into your exercises. The thing is, though, it's not a fast kind of process. It's not like, oh, I want to learn how to draw bears. Let me study bears for 2 hours, and I should be able to draw bears now. If only it were that easy. Ludicolo looks like he's about to punt Muppet Lombre. Oh, I love it. Maybe Lombre should be a little more, Lorax. Lotad looks like Perry the Platypus. Look at that mad lad. Form is all about lighting. If you want to study form, study lighting. Study shapes. Get down to the nitty-gritty. If you're studying anatomy specifically, it does kind of help to familiarize yourself with like biology. You don't have to know like the difference between the trachea and the deltoids and the and the different muscle groups. But you do need to know kind of where they are. Well, you don't need to, but it does help. And there are YouTube videos that kind of go through and explain it. Proco on YouTube has some pretty nice videos, but they can be a little overwhelming because he goes really into the skeletal form and the muscles. But the skeleton informs the what covers it. You know, like if you have a person and let's say they're, what is it, the I think the hip bones go like that, right? I don't know much anatomy. I don't do much studies myself. But if you imagine this, and then there's the backbone and then the rib cage. So then if you know about that, then you'll know that the chest goes in and then the hip kind of comes out. That's anatomy. Otherwise, you'll just kind of draw your people like, what? Huh? That's more for like realism studies, So like knowing it is helpful if you're doing realistic stuff. But even if you're doing cartoons, to know how the jaw fits in like if this is a skull, let me make it bigger. If I'm like drawing a person, like the way I draw people is a little weird because they don't have skulls. They don't have any form to them. There's no form or majesty to be found. That's Jet, right? So the eye sockets are here. You actually have cheekbones. Cheekbones are a thing. And then the upper jaw. And then the lower jaw kind of attaches up into there and comes down. Right? And then if this is the brow ridge, well then there's a bit of forehead, and then the skull goes back in space. There's this bump here, and then it goes inward, and then the neck attaches up into here. So with that in mind, you might end up drawing people that, okay, well, let's say I put the eyes here where the skull sockets are. And I might put this, whatever that is, up here. And maybe I want to give them more of a forehead and know where the bridge of the eyebrows are. And maybe I want the head to go back a little so I can stick the ear in here. And they have like hair coming down there. And maybe I want to make sure that the neck is thick enough that it can support the body, the head, and all that, So like it kind of helps to know a general sense, but it's not super necessary to know detailed anatomy. In terms of form, if without knowing light, if light's coming in from this side, Yeah, that's form. You don't need any lines to create that. So I'd say if you are trying to do studies, make sure you're studying the right thing. Don't go tracing, like, you know, like photographs, when what you really need to do is draw squares. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm not much of an instructor. That's why you don't see pretty much any tutorials coming out of my channel, except for like really technical stuff. I went to art school, but it's been a while. So sometimes it's a little difficult to remember how it began. Hello, Pokemon 071204. Hello, people. Welcome to the stream. I'm just drawing Ludicolo and his bros. This is a series that I call Pokemon Families. Not necessarily family relations, but more like evolutionary line. So on Bulbapedia, they have a page called Pokemon Family by Evolution, and it's just, so this would be considered the Lotad family. It's always the family member, the evolution stage that came out first. So even though Pichu is an earlier form of Pikachu, it's still called the Pikachu family because Pikachu came first in the Dex. The Charmander family would be called the Charmander family because Charmander is the first in the line on the Dex. So on and so forth. And you know, also with art studies, it's always helpful to have someone else to study with that you can like get a second opinion. That's one of the more useful things of taking art in university, is having that critique session. There's really very little that you absolutely have to go to university for when it comes to art. Degree, you can get an art job without a degree as long as you have the portfolio to back it up. But unless it's a teaching job, of course. But I don't know, like taking online courses just kind of doesn't do it for me unless there's like a critique part of it where you can send in the work to the professor and have them draw over it, and you know. I think for form specifically, doing life drawings would help. And you can start simple, like if you have some little boxes put on your desk, and just kind of draw those, shine some light on it and shade it in. If you want to, and then you can move on to like cups and still lives. just understanding that light relationship to... Remember, everything exists in planes. You have a skeletal boy, right? You'd be like, oh, that's kind of complicated to shade. I'm just doing this out of my head, so sorry if it's inaccurate, but there's actually you can kind of, when you shine light on something, you can kind of break it down into sections. So there's like a plane. Hold on, let me do it in a different color. There's a sort of plane here above the nose, and then the plane inside, you know, is dark because this hits, the light hits this and then it blocks the light so that the stuff underneath gets dark. You know, this part here, what part? This part here is facing the light, so this part would be in shadow. If, let's say this part is on the light, this part is a little bit in shadow, this part is a little in shadow, this part is in the light, you know? So you kind of go through like that, and you sort of find the planes, simplify things into shapes. Where did my layer go? Where did my... Okay, here. Da, 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 da. There's a guy on YouTube, I think his name is Marco Bucci. I think he has some videos on the fundamentals of art. Let me see. Marco Bucci. I think this is the one. I think he has some videos on the fundamentals of art that kind of explain stuff a little better than I can. And form is one of the fundamentals. I can't even remember all the fundamentals. Hold on, it's like, it's line, form, is composition one of them? Light, maybe? Color? I don't know. Let me look it up. I gotta refresh myself. Fundamentals of art. What are the 8 principles of art? Balance, proportion, emphasis. That's not the ones I'm looking for. Form. Perspective. Anatomy. Composition. Value and shading. Lighting. Wait, what's the difference between form and anatomy. The idea of form is very general but also very important. Artists who learn to recognize form see beyond the 2D paper or screen. They're able to create objects that look realistic because the forms look jubilant and lively. Forms define anything with volume. The human body has a lot of different shapes and forms, especially in the face. Your ability to see and understand forms would be crucial. Let me link this as well. I just did a quick search, but it seems interesting. I haven't been able to read through it, but I thought for sure line was one of them. Maybe I missed it. Do, do, do. Hello, hello. Study everything. Hope it works. What I really need to study lately has been color. I've never really got a good grasp on color, but I want to get into watercolor. And that's all about like knowing where to apply a certain hue and all that. Do I want him there, or do I want him here? Or maybe even... Can I... flip-flop? Oopsies. There's not enough room for all these hats. You see this random cross-hatching I do sometimes? Where I just like kind of fill in a part? That's me filling in the form. I guess form is just all about getting the thing to look solid. And maybe get yourself a thick brush and just kind of go at it and see. Let me make the hat a little better on the Ludicolo. I think the hat needs some work. I really like hats, but they've never been easy for me to draw. Someday I need to do, like, just studies on hats. Da 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 da. Da da da. My time slot on the 24-hour stream was, in my time, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., which would have been fine, except I didn't finish the last drawing, and so I stayed up working on it, but it was like a bunch of flowers, so I was up maybe like an hour longer than I needed to be finishing that up. And then I was just up like another hour just because I was so pumped up from the stream itself that I couldn't I couldn't sleep. And I wanted to, you know, keep watching the stream and stuff. So I didn't get to bed until like 5, I don't think. Which is a little bit of a problem because I had church the next morning. And I had to get up earlier than, you know, I couldn't just sleep in. And then we go to church, and oh, I need to tell you guys this story, because this is hilarious. It's not really a story, but so I caught a mouse over the weekend. It's been scampering around in our ceiling. We still have another one. I can hear it sometimes. So I set my trap again. But I caught a mouse, and so we went to church, and I went to release it because our church is right nearby a lake, with like kind of a wooded area. It's sort of a rain drain kind of deal, like a marsh. So I went over by the trees, and I let it out, and as soon as it jumped out of the trap, a blue jay flies in from out of nowhere and like attacks it. And I'm still there. I'm still crouched there. So like this is the closest I've ever been to a blue jay. It didn't even like care that I was there. It was just jumping around. At one point the mouse and the blue jay were just like staring each other down. Neither one was like moving, and it was just, I can't even believe it. It was like out of a cartoon because I literally just released the mouse. It was one of those like, be free little friend, and then immediately gets eaten by a predator type deal. So yeah, that was fun. And then after that, I was kind of wandering around because our church is a Chinese English church, so we have a Chinese congregation and an English congregation. The Chinese congregation has their service first, and we have like Sunday school. So we were just reading the passage for Sunday school, and then the alarm goes off, the fire alarm. And we're like, what? So we all go outside. I'm guessing the Chinese congregation had to like stop service for it. And the fire trucks come, they like diffuse the alarm, and nothing is burning because there's no smoke or anything, and we're just kind of like, oh, some kid must have pulled the alarm. Our church isn't really like a church building. It's kind of a complex that's attached to other buildings too, so it could have also been like from another building, we're thinking, because they're all attached. The ones that are attached will all get fire drilled together. And so we all go back in. We think that's it. And that's the thing that's happened. What a strange event. Like, not 20 minutes later, the fire alarm goes off again. And we all have to go back outside. Like, that happened 3 times before service. We had to all moved outside. Basically, there's a like a private school next door, and the principal actually goes to our church, so he let us use their auditorium. So we go over there to have our actual service, which means there's no like actual sound system that we can plug into, no mics and such. So I sing on the praise team. I lead the praise worship when we do the songs. So I was like belting as loud as I could so that anyone could hear me, and might have like thrown out my voice a little from that. I was swallowing hard afterwards. And when we went back over to our building for lunch, we were told that the alarm went off like twice more while we weren't there. I still don't know what happened, if there was like a cause or something, but yeah. That was a day, alright. That many times doesn't seem like a prank. Yeah, I feel like maybe I heard someone say something like there was a leak or something, but I'm not sure if that was the case or if they were just talking. But yeah, it certainly feels like something was going on in the building that was causing it. Okay. Well, I don't know what is going on really, but that's the pose, I guess, that we're going with, because I've spent too much time on this sketch to not use it. Wouldn't you think? Please tell me about your day. Hi Chico! Hello! Tails says, thank you for the link and advice. I tried my best. And Tails, if you want to talk about it more later, we can certainly. I'll try to, you know, try to reach back into my art memories. This is your luck. Top 10 anime fights. Yes! OMG, what an eventful day. God sure has a sense of humor. I was joking. I'm like, God clearly wants me to catch the end of the 24-hour stream, because he's trying to cancel church. But I guess it didn't happen, because I still missed it. They're gonna get kicked from home, I can relate. Wait. We'll talk more about art studies or your crazy day. Art studies. There's not much more to talk about the crazy day, honestly. If I can get this done on time, I might do a quick demonstration. I won't call it a tutorial because that sounds too official. But I'll do a demonstration on how to draw flowers, because I figured out a pretty easy way to draw hydrangeas over the weekend when I had to do the stream. It's actually really, really simple. Let's see. Don't tell me you stayed until 5. I did. What happened at the end of the stream? They had a kind of event, which I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about. Zero, I want to catch the end of the stream. God, I got you, but not even I can get your internet up and running. companies are Satan's gig. It's true. I actually would have been able to, except when we moved over to the school, I lost Wi-Fi, and we're out of data for the month. So, yeah, I actually have Wi-Fi at our church, so I could have, if we were over there. But no, alas. Zero, don't tell Chico about my sleep schedule. It was fine, and I got enough sleep. Of course you did, Tails. I believe you. Not! Also, Restream is putting Twitch comments here for once, but it's a little unreliable. Aw, is it at least showing up on the... I forgot to check. Yeah, it's showing up on the screen at least, and hopefully you can see it. So, Tails, have you recovered yet? Do you feel recovered from your night? I pretty much still haven't recovered. Last night I was up pretty late again, just on accident. So, I did get more sleep, though. I didn't have to wake up by alarm. So I woke up whenever, the general sounds of morning and my own biological clock, I guess, woke me up. But still, it wasn't really enough rest. And also, I don't drink coffee, so I don't really have any way to artificially boost my energy. I was struggling to have dinner today, just on account of me not being able to even digest food almost, it felt like. Still can't feel the aftermath of the stream in your voice. Still can't? If my voice seems a little rough, it might also be from singing too loud. The day after. I didn't actually have to talk that much during the stream, It was a lot less stressful than I thought it would be, because originally I thought whoever was streaming would eventually get on the main, like be the center and have to entertain the guests, so to speak. But they kind of just had so many events going on the whole night that they left the streamers to their own streams, which was kind of nice for me, because then I didn't have to compete with any other, voices, or have to talk to a much faster stream chat than I'm used to. And then after a while, I think my stream chat went a little quiet, so I could just focus on the actual challenges. I'm thinking of adding more challenges. Chico kind of suggested modifications to old challenges, but I'm not sure how that would work since a lot of them um, are design based. But I think the modifications themselves could be interesting enough to actually be a challenge on their own. And we're talking about stuff like drawing with my left hand, or drawing with my eyes closed, or uh, not erasing or drawing with a really big brush, stuff like that. So I don't remember if I added them yet. I might add them later if I have time, but we'll see. It's been a while since I last sang at church. What songs do you sing? We mostly do Hillsong. The musicians choose the songs. I'm not actually a big fan of the the Christian music genre. But I do enjoy singing the songs. The way that Christian music, especially Christian pop, is written, it's very how do I say this nicely? It's very boring to listen to. And like structurally, it's all very samey, but it works really well for like praise songs because it's easy to pick up the structure, and they're not too difficult to sing. So if you want to get a group of people to like sing together, they're pretty good. Uh, but since I'm not really a fan of listening to them, just listening to them, I don't know a lot of Christian songs that are like popular these days. So the musicians, the guitarist, the keyboardist, the people who play accompaniment, they choose the songs. And it turns out they just really like Hillsong. So we do a lot of their songs. I don't know if we did Hillsong this weekend. What songs did we do? We wanted to do Good Good Father because it was Father's Day, but because we didn't have a full set, we scrapped what we practiced and we just went with hymns. So we just did a bunch of hymns. We could have played the songs, but like you can't lead a congregation if they don't have words. So without the lyrics, without a projector, we couldn't do the songs that we practiced. We did a couple of hymns. Which ones did we do? We did let me try to remember. That's another problem with Christian songs, is they all have such inane names. Like they're all the same. It's like I think we might have done Come Thou Fount. Sometimes I look through the list and it's like grace, grace to grace. It's like, okay. I think one of them is, there's like 3 different Amazing Graces. One of them is just I can't even remember any of them. I think that's another reason why I don't usually pick the songs, because I can't remember them. But they're a lot of fun to sing. I think... Oh no, he does have 3 toes. I thought maybe he had more. Oh no, what did I miss? What was ignored? I don't. Wait, what? That. Did you ever spoke? Wait, let me. Did you ever spoke to the other people? I was a bit confused at some parts. No, I didn't really. When Kadu was streaming, I was on her voice chat. So I did talk to her during her section. Um, but not when I was going, I didn't talk to anyone. The thing with the challenges, though, is most of them were ignored in the stream. People picked fusions the most. They picked fusions the most, and I think they liked the Gajinkas too. I got a couple of megas, and I got, I think, like one draw from memory, which is fine. I mean, you know, they're there as options, but I'm actually kind of glad no one picked like animation or something that would take way too long to do. Yes, Chico. That's me. I can't remember the names, but I'll remember like the way they sound or the lyrics or something. All of my favorite songs are kind of hard to sing though, so I don't usually suggest them. I was about to. Lotad, this is my destiny. We're gonna go flying. Ludicolo. Um, so before I forget, I do want to mention next week there won't be a stream because our church is going on a mission trip. So I'll be gone for the whole week. So yeah, this is, I think, the last stream for the month. There will also not be a new episode of Jet's Black Nuzlocke when we hit July. Because I took this month off to work on the script, which I didn't really, but at least I had more time to work on the episode itself. I did want to have like 2 episodes sketched in advance going into next month, but one is enough, I guess. If I can get a whole episode sketched ready for next month, then maybe next month I can sketch an episode for the month after and just continue to have like 1 month sketched in advance. That's a little bit of a buffer, not much, but it's something to work with, I think. Like, I basically had this idea for the scene. I just didn't know how to pull it off. And then as I was trying to pull it off, the characters started talking about something I wasn't ready for, and now I have to, like, redo the scene because I just can't leave it. It's like... I like where it went, and I wasn't prepared. But I think it's a little better than what I had originally, so at least it wasn't like a terrible twist of events. One of the reasons that it happened is I was driving home one day and it started raining, and I was like, it was like a thunderstorming, and I was like, ooh, thunder like Zekrom. That's what I'm working on right now in the story. Oh, wait, I should make it thunderstorm. That would be nice. But of course, my characters can't see the thunderstorm because they're inside. Ah, but I have some characters outside. Let's do a quick, like, montage or, like, flash to them, a cut to them, so I can show that it's starting to rain. Why did I do this? There was no lead-in. But yeah, it's gonna work out. Could also use windows. Yeah, I can suddenly, like, teleport them to somewhere with windows. They're not at the windows yet, is the problem. The previous episode is already out. They're already talking, and there are no windows. Goodness. Tails asked earlier what was ignored. I wasn't sure if that was, an actual question, like, which prompts were ignored, but let me think. I think, we didn't do any animation, we didn't do any, hold on. We didn't do the palette picker. We didn't do a style shift. I did do one Pokemon as a different element. And if you didn't make it to the stream, you can also just look at the results. I posted them on Tumblr as a sketch dump. Hold on, let me see. This is my Tumblr account, I think. You should listen to some music. That often helps me. I could also read other stories as inspiration fuel. I think you have many options. That's why people chose the most common ones, which is fine. Yeah. Lucario time? Major clickbait. I can't actually listen to music when I'm trying to script. I can't listen to anything when I'm scripting. I am reading a comic. I'm trying to catch up with One Piece right now. I'm at the introduction to Brook, I think. And I also just finished watching Mob Psycho 100. And yeah, like when you ingest more media, you get more inspiration. It's you gotta feed the machine. You gotta put fuel in to get stuff out. And if you don't read enough, then you'll find it really hard to write well. I'm gonna give him a bigger chin so that it sticks out. What's a Ludicolo without a huge chin? I don't remember if I mentioned this on stream yet, but I am so excited that Banjo-Kazooie made it into Smash, you guys. I almost cried. I was so excited that at our the prayer meeting, like right after, I kind of like brought it up because I honestly feel like there were some answered prayers that week. We had all but lost hope that Banjo-Kazooie would ever make it back onto Nintendo systems. It makes me especially sad, though, because my sister keeps stealing the Switch and taking it to college. So I don't even know if I'll be able to play when it comes out. I didn't buy the DLC pack, so I'll just be buying Banjo-Kazooie when they're released, and their stage, obviously, and their music. I still haven't beaten World of Light, the story mode thing. I got kind of stuck somewhere during. It's a shame I only got to show 2 of Lotad's legs, because I do think the fact that it has 6 legs is one of the more interesting features that it has. Even a lot of the bug Pokemon don't have the right number of legs. And then you have this, like, little... I don't know what it's supposed to be, tadpole thing that has, like, way more legs than is comfortable to look at. But it's still cute. I haven't finished my Smash painting. I'm so useless. No, Chico! You can totally add the rest, though. The Smash painting is hard to get through. I don't know if I will be able to get through it. It's much more difficult than any other, classic mode, I guess it would be counted as, than I've played before. Maybe I just need to, like, make it easy mode. Alright, let's look at this. It's not bad. Not too bad if I do say so myself. Let's color it in. Let's try to color it in. Hey, we didn't take too long. Same color here. Here. Here, 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 here. 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 Slightly blue. Oops. Do, 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 do. Let's make it a darker shade of this color. Maybe not so dark. Maybe not so light. That's about good, I guess. I don't know. Lotad, Lotad. Give me your answer true. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da da da. Kind of want to change its color to slightly yellower green. And I want to make Lotad a bit more of a tealer green. And then Ludicolo is a very light Something like that. Something around here. Like that. Like that, and like that, and I forgot the lines on the tree. And let's see. Oops. Hey, look at the jolly trio. Lombre is the man. Lotad really looks like Perry the Platypus. Hot take. Ludicolo had to murder an executor to get its hat. Ooh. Murdered and skinned an executor. Zero, I'm so excited I made more headway with the stream-related thing. Yay! Oh my goodness! Oh man, I can't wait to see what's happening. Let's see. Totally forgot you were streaming tonight. RIP! Oops! Let's see. Now we gotta put some shading in. This is where your form comes in. So I read a little bit, and I think I understand the difference between form and anatomy. Anatomy is like the structure of the body, but form is making it look 3D, existing in space. So we're gonna add some shading in to give everything a bit of form. Not too much. We don't want to be here all day. To do it a little quicker, I'm gonna basically just imagine the light coming from one direction, drawing a line down where I think it curves that way. On the center line, I draw a line and then fill it in. And that's about all that's necessary sometimes. And of course, anywhere that would be underneath would get shaded. So under the hat, right? And all the while just kind of making sure that no tangents are being formed. Make sure that nothing gets lost in terms of like detail. Oftentimes shadow is a great thing to put underneath something that is supposed to be overlapped something else to make it look more like it's on top. So all of this fur will get shadow underneath, just like that. The foot gets shadow underneath. Shadow is a good way to push something back into space. So like this whole leg could probably be into shadow. But if I just made the whole leg shadowed, it would kind of look flat. So I leave a little bit of rim lighting there. So like the color here and the color here are the same. I want the arm to go back in space. So I'm going to make the arm just all shadowed. And that brings the chin forward. You're still drawing in the shading stage. If you do it well, shadow can be a very important part of the drawing. Real talk, how did you end up with this idea? The dex entry for Lotad? Lotad? No, Lombre. The dex entry for Lombre says it's often mistaken for a child. So I was looking at its childlike body, and I'm like, someone needs to pick this boy up like a child. And so I had Ludicolo holding him. And originally I had him holding Lotad, but it just didn't kind of work. So I moved Lotad, and Ludicolo is just a really jolly fella. So he put his leg up on all on his own. And someone mentioned that I think it was like Nyx mentioned it looked like Ludicolo was about to punt Lombre across the room, and I'm like, it totally does. So I changed Lombre's expression to more fear, and here we are. I did not come in with any ideas. I did not come in with a plan. Sometimes the ideas find you. think maybe I should just have this whole thing like the Lotad's leaf is kind of blocking it. Just add a little bit of light here to break that up, because that's a little too much. And some lighting here and there to help it stand out. Alright, alright. Like that. Okay. Ideas are your friends. I missed the coloring. Oh no! Lotad can see the future. Reminds me of Zatu. Let's see. You should teach at Proco School. No way. I am no good at teaching. I had some really good teachers, though. I tried to find some of my notes the other day, and I can't recall where I put them. I still have them. I know that, but it's like, where did they go? It takes a completely different skill set to be able to teach. Oftentimes, studying the masters is most beneficial when you look at what they've done, watch how they do it, sort of copy their work and their methods, and take what what works for you from them. Just steal their techniques and learn it as if you're studying the person and their method, rather than like trying to boil it down. And then once you're done with one master, you move on to another. You move on and you continue to steal concepts and techniques and ideas, and eventually what you end up with is an original style and technique that works for you, because you've you've done your dues, you've tried the thing, and you've moved on from it. So sometimes when people are like, "Oh, this person who did all these awesome things is teaching," I don't necessarily say, "Oh, wow, that means they must have some like tricks up their sleeves, or like they must have some secrets to like impart." It's more, "Oh, hey, I like their work and I want to like see how they do it," and I think you can learn a lot more with that kind of attitude going in rather than expecting them to impart amazing wisdom. Because honestly, we artists don't really have that much wisdom. We just know what works for us, and we know how to do things the way that works for us. Who knows if it works for you, but we can show you how we do things and what we do and how we do it, and maybe some of it will benefit you. Also, seeing them, someone else draw over top of what you've done is always helpful too. That's how I started learning. My first art teacher, I had a private art teacher when I was in like high school or middle school, I think. And all she would do really was give us a book with maybe a tree in it, and then sit us down at a canvas with like acrylics and just have us go. And I was like, okay, what do I do? So I'll like draw the tree, and then she'll come over halfway through and just sit down, like tell me to get up. She'll sit down with the paints and just start painting. And sometimes she wouldn't even like explain really what she was doing. So my child brain was just going, "Oh, okay. This is you're just doing it for me now? Cool, I guess." What I should have been doing is watching her technique and like trying to parse what she was doing and why she was doing it, and then she would hand it back to me. And the problem was, like, after she touched it up, I was like, "Wow, immediate improvement. It's done now. You like finished it." But then she'll hand it back to me and make me sit there for another hour or two and continue to work on it after it already looked finished to me. And so I'll like sit there noodling away at it and not really knowing what to do, and then she'll come back and sit down again and continue to work on my piece, and it's like, oh wow, like there was so much more I could have done. But I just couldn't see it. These eyes need to be polished. Let me see if I can fix the shape of them. This is a redo of my Geodude family. Do you guys remember my Geodude family? Well, I think that about does it. You have changed, but you haven't improved. You can't improve greatness. Oh, Chico, you flatterer. Geodude 2019, 7 years of improvement. So the classes were personalized like that. Well, like I said, she would leave me for like an hour or two. While she left me, she would go to the other classes. To the other students. But there were multiples of us. It was kind of it was in her home, and it was kind of like a casual thing. Like, you know, Chinese moms know each other and that sort of stuff. She would also teach at the Chinese school, and she brought these zoo books for us to draw from. So we just look through zoo books and like draw the animals. That was always fun. Now we know where the noodling came from. Oh my goodness, you're right. Would you lose your patience? Wait, your cross-hatching tutorial disagrees with you. Did I do a tutorial? Oh, you mean like when I explained it? Yeah, I mean, that was like a very specific thing that I could kind of focus on. And again, I couldn't really explain it until I did it. I had to do the thing, and then I took screenshots and explained what was going on when I did the thing. Teaching means you're not only familiar, but patient and good with words for explanations. Yes, I am neither patient nor good with words. Zoo books! Titty Committee remembers zoo books. I have a box full of zoo books that I collected. I love zoo books. I wonder if it has to do with the communist regime. It's just the Communist Party trying to indoctrinate our children into becoming artists that noodle everything. That, oh hey, Chinese noodles. Okay, well, I'm going to save that, and I believe I promised a, demonstration on how to draw flowers. So let's go ahead and do that. Oopsies. Let me see if I remember. What color flowers do we want? I have a box full of Zubats. Please stop sucking. Oh, yeah. Purple flowers, okay. So, purple flowers, right? Purple hydrangeas specifically, because that's what I figured out how to draw over the weekend. So we're going to start with a mid-tone color. This is going to be the main color of our flowers. And hydrangeas grow in batches, in like big bundles. So we're going to make a bundle. Just kind of making little bits come out here and there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in with a white. So let me kind of explain the way the petals work. They come out from the center, but they kind of overlap slightly. So this petal will go like this. The next one will go under it maybe, and then the next one will sort of go under that. And then sort of like that sort of shape. So we're going to start from the edge here, and we're just gonna make little cloud shapes going into the center. And then, so this one goes slightly behind that. This one's gonna go on top of this one. Alright? And this is why it took me so long on after the stream to finish, because this process is easy, but it is tedious to do every single flower. Petal by petal. And then when you get into the middle, you sort of decide, just, you have to make a decision. Where is this petal gonna be? All the while, you're just kind of imagining this shape, right? And then you're imagining another one either in front of or behind another. So like here, it's hard to get a full petal, so I'm gonna leave a little gap. Right? Sometimes on the edge, you can also have petals that are, you know, going up. So basically, if this is where the stem is, it's going up like that. Okay. So we got some flowers there. I'm going to zoom in so it's easier for you to see. You want it to be thicker on the edge than in the middle. So thinner on the middle, thicker on the edge. Kind of like that. Okay. And then about this time, when you get a little bit bored, you want to switch over. So just take that middle color again and go back in and sort of smooth out some of these. Not all of them, but some of them. And you can switch back and forth. And if you're wondering, well, how do you know, where do you know where to put the certain petals, or what shapes to make them, or you pull up a reference and you look at it, and you start with the reference and you just kind of go based off of that, and by the time you're on your 5th, 7th flower, you've kind of gotten it down. You don't need to look at the picture anymore, because they're all relatively the same. See how this blob right here is kind of like this shaped? So I take the purple and I cut it so that it has more of a this shape to indicate that it's on the top. Okay. And then with this purple color, you go deeper, get a darker version, and then starting from the middle, you just sort of outline the follicles? I don't know what to call them. So each one isn't great, but with flowers and florals and those kinds of things, if you do a whole bunch of them and put them together, no one looks at the individual, but the whole together gives us off a sense of, whoa, that's so cool. It's a bunch of flowers. That must have taken forever. It's like, yeah, well, it took a while, but it wasn't difficult necessarily. And then of course you can go in and sort of define some of the petals against itself. So like the whites can stand out a bit more. And you can make a decision whether you use the purple or the dark purple. And really kind of just take your time. Eventually something will happen. There's no real right or wrong when you do this. If you put down the whites somewhere and you intended it to be on one flower, but then when you go in with the dark purple and it ends up on the other, that's totally fine, as long as it looks good. It's kind of relaxing almost. Except I can't see myself doing this a whole ton. I kind of would like to try other flowers. Hydrangeas, being a bundle, were a little bit of a blessing in disguise, because I could just get used to drawing one thing and then doing it over and over again, and together it looks pretty good. If I had to draw something like a sunflower or a rose, something with more structure, that has more to do with like rendering, which can be a little more difficult to pull off. To finish this last one. Among the stars, spring is like on Jupiter and Mars and other worlds. Yeah, and you just do that a whole bunch and fill out the rest of it. Am I a bee? Because I'm in love with that bouquet. Maybe a little tutorial like this could be a Patreon reward, like one of those, when I get X amount of patrons or money or a month, I'll make short tutorials every 3 to 2 months. Hey, that's an idea, yeah. Let me check Chico posts a flower. I have a faster method, but I like yours is more handcrafty. This looks good, but feels like it must kill the wrist. When you're drawing, you really want to relax your wrist. Move your fingers and your arm. You shouldn't be tensing anything when you're drawing. If you feel like you are, then shake it out and readjust your position. I might be able to say that because I have a Cintiq, so I'm not like, you know, scrunched over a bamboo tablet or an Intuos. But I haven't tried this technique out with those yet. I think maybe. See, this kind of thing though isn't really planned out. I don't have a repertoire of things that I'm really good at drawing like this that I can do tutorials on. This one came about on accident because someone asked me to draw flowers, and I was like, let me try. Oh wow, this is actually kind of easy. Let me show you how I did it, because I didn't realize it was this easy. Do you like Impidimp? I try my best. Wait, why thick edge and thin middle though? That's just how the plant grows. Each petal looks about like this. The first thing I did when asked to do this is I looked up a reference. And that's just anatomy. So yeah, I don't know why it grows like that, but this looks nice with feelings in the zero. This really does look like a beautiful murder. It looks so polished. You should post blah blah blah. Am I a bee? I would do what you did, then copy paste it around the rest of the flower. You're a smart little imp. I'm just thinking that looks nice and doable for a huge thing like a field of flowers. Oh yeah, sure. Let me see. Oopsies. Oopsies. So like that's the beauty of florals, right? You can just put them anywhere. You know, you could also probably just make a brush. Some programs will let you make a brush that's just one of these, and then when you draw around it, like, you know. And then if you want to do any shading, just again, go from the middle. Anything that looks underneath, you just kind of put underneath. But yeah, no, I'm done for the stream. So let's play our little game, shall we? Throw in a Pokemon into the chat. We'll round this out with a chillax sort of challenge thing. If you want Chico, I can try one of your little modifiers depending on what we get. But yeah, Tails, that mentality of I'm thinking like a comic artist and I need to cut down on time for this, that is not indicative of learning. Which is why I always say to, like, so many people say, oh, comicking is such a good way to learn. And I'm always like, you'll learn how to draw comics. But just like how when you're drawing comics, you're doing page after page after page, panel after panel, you're drawing the character over and over again, and you get really good at drawing that character. You're really good at your workflow and such. It's the same here. I went in and drew every single flower for that Ivysaur because it wasn't just a matter of getting it done since the stream was over for me. It also was, the more I do it, the better I'll be at it. And if I don't do it a lot, I'm gonna forget how to do it. You know? That's why landscape artists will go out every day and like draw the same river, the same trees in their backyard. You know, you've drawn it already. Why are you drawing it again? Well, it's good practice. And I would assume they also enjoy it, but I can't imagine why. I mean, also you can simplify for comics. Let's say you need to draw a bunch of these. Well, you can just go like this, you know, and then go in and, or let's give it a little more structure. Alright. Like, this is what I would do. Maybe I might even start with a darker background. Make them as close as possible without destroying the outline of each. And then see how much faster that is? So when doing comics, it's a completely different mentality and, you know, skill set. I would never do this for like panel after panel of a comic. And you're talking about like copy pasting? Well, you don't even have to copy paste everywhere. If you take a take them and just scatter them like this. You know, you don't even have to fill every spot. All right. Zero, I might make a brush based on this. I hope that's cool. Oh, of course. Yeah, please. Wait. You can in clip. Oh, I hate that it grabs the black, but I bet a folder could fix that. I mean, to be fair, I drew everything on one layer. So, you know. When I'm painting in digitally, I tend to try and emulate as much as I can the traditional method, just to like play around with that. So I don't use a whole ton of layers. When I start using layers, it's because I've done something I really like on a bottom layer, and I don't really want to mess it up by trying something completely like out of the blue. Do I like Impidimp? I don't mind it much. It's not my favorite by far, but I don't know if it would necessarily be my least favorite. I just don't know anything about it yet. It's like in the same vein as it's like a Sableye mixed with an Apom. It's kind of goofy, but you know, it's whatever. It's a thing. I'm just thinking this looks nice, but isn't doable. Sorry, I think you know, another thing to do with, like, let's say you had a batch of flowers that all look like this, is to have that batch, like, do one whole bundle with leaves and all that. Oh, also the leaves, sorry, the leaves for, hydrangeas, they're a little more dull than that. Hold on. Yeah, something like that. Take the base color, take the darker color, bring them in. I think they all go to the same place in the center. And then take a little lighter color and draw in dash marks like that. That's what their stems, their leaves look like. You can enclip. Oh, I hate that it grabs the black. In fact, you should do it since you're at it. Might make a brush based on... I hate working with the brush maker. That would stress me out so much to do it on stream. Raichu! Can we try redesign too, if there's time? Draw with your non-dominant hand while you're making a diamond push-up with your other hand. Please! Please! Have mercy! I love to learn things, but I always run it through. How can I make same quality faster? Here's the thing. You have to start with quality and then make it faster. If you just start with the faster before you get to the quality, you're never gonna get better. Unfortunately, that's why we start with still life and realism, and then we move towards simplification. But I understand for like a hobbyist or for someone who does it for fun or just wants to like create something fast and now, that's not like possible to spend a year like learning to draw before you like get anything done. So you know, everyone's at a different level and a different has a different goal in mind. So not saying, you know, your processes are all as long as it works for you, it's valid. You gotta stay in practice. Tails knows the struggle. I wouldn't do that. I would do anything for love, but I wouldn't do that for panel after panel after panel. But I'll make that HQ high quality one to use over and over. Then have a color layer I could just clip another color to. Oh yeah, you can take this and change the hue. And now you have a different color flower. With comic, you have to decide on a compromise between art quality and time. Figure out how good you need to make it versus how much time you're willing to take. It's very Yokai Watch. Impidimp. Send this to CalArts. Show them how it's done. Learn it right first, then make it faster. Okay. crawl before you walk, walk before you run before you fly. That's what my professor would always say. So we want to try a Raichu redesign. A Raichu redesign. How do you fly? You reach for the stars, Tails. Without fear. 'Cause no, it can't be true. I can fly if I wanted to. Like a bird in the sky, I believe I can fly. Why I'd fly. Okay, walking and running don't help you learn to fly a plane. It's a metaphor. I'm gonna draw a normal Raichu with my left hand, and then I'll redesign it. How about that? Oh gosh. Oh gosh. No precision at all. Okay. Okay. Eh. Okay. I like this aesthetic. Trash aesthetic. So I think Raichu is a big electric mouse, so maybe you can add with big ears and a whirly tail. I'm trying to understand, it's not drawing it in a different style, because I could like draw it realistically, but that wouldn't be a redesign. So to me, Raichu, it lacks the sort of, how do I say it? Definition that Pikachu has. It's like suddenly really round everywhere. And I'm not sure why. There's a movement that's called Brute. Literally, da trash. Look at that good boy. Raichu's a big electric mouse. Well, Pikachu kind of has this. Though modern Pikachu looks a lot closer to Raichu now, I think. Because it does have that, like, round snoot. I certainly have never liked Raichu's ears. I don't know how they work anatomically. So maybe that's the first thing that can go. I do really like Nido Queen and Nido King's ears though, so I'm gonna go with something like that. Um, maybe I can, well, it still has to have the cheeks, of course. This part would be dark. Hmm. Hmm. Dark patch on its head carries down over its back. Because one of my favorite parts of Pikachu are those tiger stripes that it randomly has. So I'm gonna accentuate those. Hmm. Hmm. Raichu had this huge. Wait. There's a move. I think you're misremembering. Raichu had this huge air wings, copying from earlier, but it might help. So the basic idea is, what is Raichu? Then use the answer as a prompt. But then the way my brain works is I'll just end up drawing a actual mouse. Which I don't think is what the prompt is. Let's try again then. Okay. I wonder if I should still keep the Pokemon aesthetic. Hold on. Okay, what if... Maybe he can have claws? I don't know, no. Don't want to give him like eradicate fingers, because it is supposed to be a mouse and not a rat. I think it doesn't look much like a mouse anymore. It looks like a mole. Let me try that again. sure. Oopsies. Hmm. Raichu's a kind of a weird final evolution. Because it was originally designed as a second evolution. Of a 2 evolution line, sure, so it was the final, but like Pikachu was supposed to be the base, so it isn't that awkward of a middle stage. I'm trying to decide if I want to just go for like, because the only other one I can think of is Eradicate. So if I use that as a precedent and give him like these rat hands, I don't know if I like that though. I just want to give him fingers. I'm gonna give him fingies. He looks like a fighting Pokemon. Oh no! What have I done? Oopsies. Oh, let's see now. Oops. I colored that on the same layer. Oops, sorry for blinding anyone there. My eyes! Sorry, Tails. Love this scrappy boy. Oh, yay! He's ready to fight. He's ready to throw down. Almost done. We're gonna end on time today. Let's see, what color? Yellow. Animal Crossing. I cannot wait for Animal Crossing. The new Animal Crossing looks so good. Oh, the feels. I love that remix. It's so short and simple, but it works so well. And you gotta come back. Okay, yeah. I'm just gonna throw a bit of black down and just to define. The edges. I haven't really decided if I like the belly white or blue, yellow. Maybe it's the orange that needs to be a little more brighter. Yeah, I like it a little brighter orange. There it is. That's my redesign. Sorry it took so long. That was a little difficult. Yeah, it's when you kind of think of a Pokemon in a certain way, it's hard to imagine them differently. I can do styles different, but you know that doesn't change the anatomy of the Pokemon itself. But this was a lot of fun, and I certainly don't. You know, if anything, I just want to get rid of that weird curly cue that happens on their ear. I just don't like that part. But yeah, like I said earlier, this will be the last stream of this month. Next week there will not be a stream as I will not be home. So I think I'm done noodling this image. So there it is. And the one I did with my left hand. I want to thank everyone for coming to the stream tonight. Thank you for everyone who was there last night. Saturday night. Chico and Tails especially for being part of the 24-hour stream. Chico was in my chat for quite a long time, keeping me company. But yeah, it was a good time, and I'm gonna get some rest. I will see you guys in 2 weeks for another stream. Not sure what we'll do, but it'll be fun. So, yeah, I hope everyone gets rest as well. Have a good rest of your week, and until next time, keep your nose clean. Bye-bye!